we are in the presence of a celebrity right now. This is
We are.
She did the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray and G.
That's it right there.
This is it. This is the one that started it all.
You planned that.
No, I didn't, but yeah, that's cool.
Could we be in line for something funny to come out of the mouth?
Just might happen. What a little cute.
She's the best.
Everyone deserves to feel their best. Everyone deserves to move their best and not have pain.
I'm a little upset that Ben got like 2 inches taller because he's already tall, dark, and handsome enough.
Culture is something we think about like all the time at Strookies. You know, we're all coming from different cultures.
Our comments have exploded
Through the roof.
So there you go.
Good afternoon, Lancaster. Welcome to Lancaster Connects. My name is Ben McClure. I'm your host for the next hour. And as you notice, I am not in my business, Gardener's Mattress and More. We're open today, but there's a little bit of snow outside. It's January 6th, and as you can often have in the months of January, February, and March in this part of the country, you'll have snow. So Chad from the Gardeners team braved the storm and opened up the store today, and I'm broadcasting live from home. But Lancaster Connects is the show that hosts great people doing amazing things in the Lancaster community. Got a great guest. We'll bring him on in just a moment. I got good news to report. Jeff, who hasn't been with the show for the last month or so, his wife, Steph, has been ill in the hospital fighting an infection. And I'm happy to report that today, at least according to Jeff yesterday, she is leaving the hospital and going to a rehab facility. So that is wonderful news. Her infection is trending in the positive direction. And now the next step is a couple weeks of rehab, maybe 2 to 3 weeks of rehab, and then hopefully home right after that. So I know Jeff and the boys are looking forward to getting Mama Bear back in the cave nest. I don't know, but looking forward to Steph being home. Steph, if you're watching, prayers for your recovery and get you home quickly. So just figured I'd give you a little bit of update there. Like I said, we've got a great guest today on today's show. We like to highlight nonprofits and charitable organizations doing amazing things in the Lancaster community. This is episode 176. And if you didn't see last week's episode, we ran down a list of nonprofits we highlighted in 2024. And you can watch all prior episodes on lancasterconnects.com/episodes. All the past 100 plus episodes are on there. But we had a little bit of a recap show last week, and we actually ran down the list of nonprofits that we had on the show last year, and it was 27. So over half of our shows were featuring nonprofits and charitable organizations. Also on that show, we gave away some fun prizes, some awards, our first ever Lancaster Connectees awards to fun moments from the show over the past year. But anyway, today's show features a great person doing amazing things in the Lancaster community with the art form of music. We can bring John Gerdy on. Hey, John, how are you?
I'm doing great. Great to be here. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
And I tell you what, I love those album covers. And the back, 4 of my favorite albums right there.
That's why they're on the wall, man.
There you go.
You got the Stones, Beatles, Pink Floyd, and Zeppelin. I mean, you can't go wrong there.
Can't ask for anything better than that.
Yep. So I'm going to read a little statement here about you, John, and the nonprofit that you founded, Music for Everyone. So Dr. John Gerdy is an educational activist, artist, author of, I think, 8 books, you said?
That's correct.
Speaker and nonprofit entrepreneur. John serves as founder and executive director of Music for Everyone, a nonprofit dedicated to cultivating the power of music as an educational and community building tool in Lancaster County. Since 2006, Music for Everyone has invested over $1.6 million in school and community arts organizations and initiatives to enhance music programs in Lancaster County. Dr. John Gerdy is also a 1979 graduate of Davidson College, where he received All-American honors and graduated as the career-leading men's basketball scorer in school history, a record that stood for 30 years. If you are familiar with Davidson College, maybe you know who might have broken the record. I know, John, you do, but if you're listening, you might know if you're a basketball fan. We'll give you the answer after our interview here with John. But John's jersey was retired by Davidson University in 1979, and he was inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame there at Davidson in 1994. So, John, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. I just want one quick thing. Obviously, I need to update my website. So I haven't updated in a while. But in terms of MFE, we've since 2006, we've invested well over now $6 million.
Oh my goodness! Okay.
In school and community music programs. So,
yes, I pulled that from the website. So yeah, my goodness. I mean, $6 million is amazing.
Proud of it.
So many arts programs, unfortunately, get cut. The funding gets cut. Whole programs get cut from schools. So what you're doing to inject $6 million worth of music education supplies and tools is amazing at keeping these programs alive. So thank you for your work there. That's awesome.
Thank you. Well, that's more. I appreciate that, but that's more a reflection of what a generous community we have. I think our mission and the things that we're doing resonate with the community. So they've been incredibly generous in helping us grow over the years. But at the end of the day, I think the reason why we've been so successful, because we've been around 18 years now, is that we deliver. We have done a lot of different things, and we've thrown a lot of things on the wall. Not everything is stuck, but a good many of them have. So awesome. We're pretty pleased with our efforts. But most important, it really is a reflection of what a generous community we have that cares about the arts and education. So and the community building power of the arts. So we're proud of our accomplishments, but we're humble in the fact that so many people have supported us. Yeah.
That's awesome. So can you share the origin story of Music for Everyone? Like what inspired you to create this program?
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where you got to be careful what you ask for. I was involved in my previous life, I was involved in major college athletics. I was at the NCAA in Kansas City for a number of years, and I was associate commissioner of the Southeastern Conference.
Oh, wow.
In Birmingham, Alabama for 6 years. And with the birth of our first child, we decided that I would be the stay-at-home parent. Now 2 kids, but as the kid, and that was probably 25 years ago. And as the kids got older, they didn't need dad around as much anymore, right? And so I had this wonderful opportunity where I could reinvent myself, and could have gone back into college athletics, but it's sort of like been there, done that. And I'm a lifelong musician, but more importantly, I consider myself an educator. My work in college athletics was about leveraging sports as an educational tool to supplement the educational process.
Yeah.
And the same principles applied in terms of Music for Everyone, but the tool in this case was music. So I had a chance to reinvent myself and started doing the research. And the research tells us that music programs are being cut everywhere. Community music programs and arts programs and school music programs and arts programs are being cut dramatically, which makes absolutely no sense to me when you talk about the educational value and impact that they have. And at the same time, music programs are being cut. Then you have all this research and you start to realize, wow, its effectiveness as an educational and community building tool and a public health tool and as an economic driver, and as a tool for social justice, the research around all those things just skyrocketing. So it didn't make any sense to me. Why are we cutting all this stuff if it's so valuable, right? As an educational tool. Got some friends together, did a small little fundraiser, raised about 11 grand, and we got a bunch of instruments for the school district of Lancaster. And then people started hearing about what we did, and we were thinking, oh, maybe we'd do a little event every year and raise a little bit of money. But again, be careful what you ask for. It just started blossoming, and people really keyed into the narrative and what we're trying to do, and it's just exploded. Now, 18 years later, and more than $6 million invested in our community and schools. So that's kind of how it started, and just with that's what's so cool about living in today's world, right? I mean, if you have an idea and you have a passion and you want to meet a community need, you want to do something good in the community. I think everyone wants to do that, right? The tools to allow you nowadays to do that are greater than ever. In other words, the distance between your passion or idea over here and having a very direct, real community impact, the distance have never been closer and the barriers have never been lower.
No. Yeah.
Right? Because nowadays, like if I would have tried to start Music for Everyone 20 years or 30 years ago, I would have had to work through a big box community arts organization like the Symphony or the Fulton, and to get the heft and the mailing list and the backroom support and all those kind of things you need to launch a community benefit organization. But nowadays, you start a website, you're in business, so the tools were there as well that allowed us, with a very lean staff. Essentially, it was me on a volunteer basis and a volunteer board. I've been doing it as a volunteer for 18 years, although we do have paid staff now. But the tools to be able to do that are right at your fingertips now through software, for mailing lists and donor lists and payroll and all those kind of things. So the opportunity for people to, if they have a passion, to really realize that passion and have a direct community impact have never been greater. And we benefited from that in being able to really grow the organization.
Yeah, that's so from 11 grand to 6 million. That's, I mean, could you have ever fathomed that would be the number from 11 grand?
Not in my wildest dreams. It's just something that just kept. Each year I would go to our finance people and say, set another budget, and they're saying, you mean we got to raise this much money? And yeah, we're going to raise this much money. And it's like, I don't know how we're doing it, but somehow we're doing it. So it's a real testament to the generosity of the people in our community. And the other thing that's changed, and everybody told me this when we trying to start it, was that if you can make it to around the 10-year mark, when people realize, you know what, this thing's going to stick around for a while, then a lot of doors begin to open for you in terms of grants and support from the business community. So we continue to grow. We're going into coming up to our 20th anniversary, and what we're trying to do is, bring the first 20 years to a strong close. And the reason why that's important is because virtually everything that we do, from putting instruments in kids' hands, providing instruments to schools, to lessons, to summer camps, we have a program where we catalog, and we're in the process of cataloging and repairing every single instrument of every single public school in Lancaster County on an ongoing basis.
Wow.
We have the pianos that we put on the streets.
Yeah.
We have a community chorus. We're very involved in trying to leverage music as an individual therapeutic and public health tool, which is something that we've just been doing for the past 5 or 6 years, which when COVID came around, that became really important because people were looking for things to bring them together, because they felt disconnected. So, it's just been growing. And the beautiful thing about it is, and in fact, it's what keeps me so interested in it even to this day, is that our mission is very broad. All right. It's to cultivate the power of music in Lancaster County. That's very, very broad. That gives us a lot of room to work with. And then when you couple that with the tool that we use to leverage to have community impact is music, which is the universal language. So that gives you a lot of room to work with. So I equate it to, like, you got 4 lanes of highway that you're running down with that broad mission. And you got another 4 lanes right next to it with music as a universal language, giving you a lot of opportunities to do a lot of different things. And then you combine them and build a synergy. We like a 16-lane highway rolling down, and we have a lot of different things we can do. Everything from putting instruments to kids' hands to, repairing them to, leveraging music as an economic driver, for example. Lancaster is trying to build itself and brand. I'm sure you've talked about it on some of your shows. Brand itself as a music and arts community and destination. Well, we're right in the middle of that. Programs like our Keys for the City, putting the pianos on the streets, and our Music Fridays during the summer. So yeah, it's an economic driver. It's also a public health tool. As you know, music is the medical profession is finally figuring out how music can be leveraged as an individual therapeutic and public health tool, treating, helping things with PTSD and Alzheimer's and pain management and things like that. We're doing things in that arena as well. Music has been at the center of every human rights and social justice movement in the history of mankind. And we're leveraging that power as well through our Songs for Justice program, which is a series of records that highlights issues around human rights and social justice. And so we're able to do a lot of different things because of the universal nature of music. So when we're very lean, and when people really get time to spend on our website and look at all the things that we do, they'll find that there's an awful lot of stuff that we do. And at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is lower the barriers as much as possible to allow access to music education, community building music projects. For example, all of our after school programs, summer camp programs, they're all free of charge, right? So we make it accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to think. But the other thing is, we're cradle to grave. We do stuff for everything from infants to little kids to seniors. We do stuff for folks with dementia. We do drum circles, community building drum circles. We do all kinds of things. We do programs with vets. We partner with veterans organizations to do programs. So when we talk about music for everyone, we truly do mean that we're trying to provide access to all different kinds of music and arts related activities to build community, to bring people together, to build community.
So I think you said you have an initiative in place to repair all music instruments in all schools. So that's
public schools. Yeah, all public schools in the county. Yes.
So you have a relationship, Music for Everyone has a relationship with all Lancaster County schools?
Yes.
Public schools?
Yes. In fact, we also provide instruments. We have an annual grant program. And each year we provide in between 70 and 90, maybe $100,000 a year in instruments throughout the entire county. Okay. Wow. But and I don't know how many, we provided more than, I think it's 14,000 instruments in total. But we found out that you can't provide all those instruments, and it'd be irresponsible if you didn't have a program to help repair them and keep them in good use. So about 6-7 years ago, we started that program, and we're about a third of the way through it. We've done about a third of the schools in Lancaster County. But for example, school district of Lancaster last year, it's the first time they've ever started their school year, or this year, started their school year where every single kid either had a new instrument or a newly repaired instrument, right?
That's awesome.
That's kind of how we started, just providing those instruments. And then we realized that it just kept growing. Then we realized that you could provide every kid in a 40 kids in a classroom, a 40-piece or 30-piece ensemble, a brand new instrument. But if you only had one teacher, those instruments would never be able to unleash their magical music and educational potential. So then we started what we call, we have now a faculty where we have, I think, 2 full-time faculty members, about 6 part-time faculty members who go into schools, work alongside teachers directly with students. That morphed into an after-school program. 3 days a week, we have an after-school program. And then that also morphed into summer camps, where we probably host somewhere around 300 kids during the summer, about 3 or 4 weeks of summer camp. So it's just evolved and grown. And the more and one of the things we're pretty good at is we don't just start programs to start programs, right? We're very lean and flexible and nimble to be able to meet quickly community needs as they arise. I'll give you one great example. During COVID, one of the things that, we put the pianos on, we have Keys for the City is where we put anywhere between 15 and 20 fully designed and painted pianos all throughout Lancaster City.
I've seen them.
People can 24/7 access for four months. I'll tell you a good story about how that started. But what we found out is that as we keep on growing and keep on providing these opportunities, additional opportunities come down the road. So we're constantly looking for opportunities to meet different needs. I will tell you the story about it's good. It's a good story about the pianos. So I was over in London. We just celebrated our 15th year of Keys for the City, and that includes over 200 pianos in total. And I was in Lancaster, and I was walking down the street, and I just saw a piano on the street, somebody playing it. I said, man, that's cool. So I came back to our board, and I said, we ought to do this. Let's put out 4 or 5 pianos on the streets and just see what happens. And one of our board members said, no, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to put 20 out, and we're going to get artists to paint all of them.
That's such a cool idea.
And so we went to the city, and I was like, yeah, sure, we're going to do that. I was like, oh, yeah, all right. And so anyway, we go to the city to pitch this idea, and Rick Gray was the mayor there.
Yeah.
Who said, yeah, so we're going to put out 20 pianos, full access, 24/7 for 4 months during the summer. And he looked at his staff, and he looked at us, and he said, you guys are out of your minds. There's no way that they're going to last a week before they're vandalized. And our narrative was different. Our narrative was, we believe in Lancaster's better angels. We believe that our citizens are caring citizens, thoughtful citizens, care about our community, love the arts. They're going to take care of these pianos. So fast forward 4 months, 24/7 access, 20 pianos. Fast forward 4 months, there was 1 incident of vandalism. And so the narrative there, in terms of from the city's standpoint, or to citizens of our, what a great community we live in, what a caring community we live in. And so it was really transformational, I think, in terms of how the city views the arts and how the city can come together around these arts programs. So we've been doing it for 15 years. Over 200 pianos, and through that entire 15 years and over 200 pianos, there have been 2 total incidents of vandalism. So it's a great another great example of what a great community we live in. Yeah, support the arts like they do.
Truly, it truly is. So you've music has played a big role in your personal life, and how does that influence your journey with music for everyone?
Well, I think it's funny when you start something like this. Now, I was involved in college athletics, and I was my involvement, again, I've always an educator, and it was always to leverage sports potential and to build character and supplement the educational process. So when I was deciding kind of what else to do, I got more kids, my kids are older, I got more, opportunities to do something else. And you start to think about the narrative around how are you going to sell, quote unquote, donors and sponsors to support your program. And I did obviously a lot of the research, but also I drew a lot on my personal experience as a lifelong musician, right? So I have been a member of a 5-person basketball team where everybody's working together, sacrificing, communicating, personal responsibility, discipline, all those things that we talk about around team sports. But I've also been in a 5-person band, and it's the exact same stuff. It's no different. Discipline, time management, teamwork, coordination, personal response, all of those things. So I had sort of this intrinsic understanding of the educational and character development of involvement in music. That's why it frustrates me so much when budget crunches happen and school boards look at all the programs, and invariably it's quote unquote the extracurricular activities that are the first to get cut, meaning mostly music versus sports. And it drives me crazy when people say, well, nothing teaches teamwork skills like team sports. And you know what? That's not true.
Right.
Music does the same. So, those are the things you draw upon regarding, building a narrative to try to make your case. And again, it's people talk about music, both from an educational standpoint and a societal standpoint. And they think it's an extra. They think it's a nice thing to have, right?
Right.
But from an educational standpoint, think about it. It's not an extracurricular activity. It should be a core activity, but most schools don't budget it that way. Maybe a co-curricular activity, but you know what it really is? It's the glue that holds the entire curriculum together.
Yeah. Music
is math. Music is reading. Music is logic. Music is language. Music is science. Most important, music fosters and builds creativity. It's the most powerful tool in our educational arsenal to teach creativity, thinking out of the box. And the reason why we invest so heavily in it is because every single issue that we face as a town, as a state, a region, a nation, a global community, whether it relates to healthcare, the environment, global politics, whatever it is becoming more complex in this increasingly fast-paced, interconnected world.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way that we're going to be able to address the increasingly complex issues and challenges we face is by developing a corresponding increase in our populace of what? Creativity. Thinking out of the box, thinking at a higher level. The other reason why we invest so heavily in it is because in that same world, increasingly fast-paced world in which we live, incredibly connected, in a lot of ways, we're becoming less connected, right? And people are feeling more unmoored and not connected to other people. Well, what is the most powerful tool we have in our societal arsenal to bring people together? That's music and the arts, because it's the universal language. So when we talk about the educational system, music's not an extra. It's really the glue that holds everything together. When we talk about from a societal standpoint, right? When we talk about, for example, obviously education, right? Obviously there are educational benefits, right? Putting instruments in kids' hands. Obviously there are economic benefits as an economic driver. Obviously there's public health benefits. There's social justice, human rights benefits. There's the benefit of connecting people, right? People becoming more connected, lowering barriers so that people can engage in music activities. And you know why we do all that? Because a more educated and creative populace equals a stronger community, right? A more vibrant local economy equals a stronger community. A more just society equals a stronger community. A healthier populace equals a stronger community. And a more connected populace equals a stronger community. So at the end of the day, it's about building community. It's about leveraging music's power and potential to bring people together, to educate, and to build community. And the fact of the matter is, on all of those areas I just mentioned, we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the best example.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it. We give anywhere between $70,000 and $100,000 every year of new instruments to schools throughout the county. But yet we receive more than 250, more than 250,000 requests every year.
Oh,
right?
Okay, yeah.
We're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do as we get close to our 20th anniversary in 2 years is we're starting to work on engaging in some sort of capacity and capital campaign. So for two reasons. Number one, to meet the immediate needs that we're just scratching the surface on, right? As we roll in to finish our 20th anniversary and hopefully in a strong fashion, and then also to set us up for the next, from a sustainability perspective for the next 20 years. So we got a lot going on, and we're pretty excited about it. And we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great segue. Often on this show, when we have nonprofits and charitable organizations, we ask how the community can help and support. Obviously, financial donations would help. I'm sure volunteers, donations of instruments. What are some ways that the community can help Music for Everyone?
Well, all of those things, obviously, all of those things. But I think the main thing is to become more familiar with what we're doing. Because you know what? When people think about Music for Everyone, they have two impressions, right? One is, oh, they put instruments in kids' hands, right? And number two, they put the pianos on the streets, right?
Right.
But we do so much more than that.
Yeah.
And there's something in our our mission, our bags of tricks, or the programming that you can connect to, whether it's education, instrument repair, public health. We have a community chorus, whether it's issues around social justice. So there's all kinds of ways to connect with us. But first, spend some time on our website. Look at the kind of things that we're doing, because we do so much, and it's so varied, and we're fortunate because our mission, again, is so broad. And also the tool that we use to hopefully provide positive community impact is music, which is the universal language that allows us to do a lot of different things. So first off, come and familiarize yourself with all the things that we're doing. One of the things we're really excited about, and this is just happening. In fact, it just started this week. Is
that's cool.
One of our challenges has been we haven't had our home. We've had an office that we've been able to, Ware Center in Millersville University has been nice enough to provide to us for free of charge for the last 15 years.
Oh.
But all of our programming is spread around the city, like in church basements and church musicals, all the kind of thing. And so just recently, we've been able to, working with the Ware Center, we've been able to secure access to 4 or 5 classrooms and performance spaces. So for the first time, beginning just January 1, we're going to be able to bring all of our programming under one roof at the Ware Center, which is a beautiful, aspirational, inspirational building. It was built for music education.
Yep.
So it allows us for the first time to not only, this will house our after school program and summer camps and things like that, but we're also going to be able to begin rolling out programming during the day, like things for seniors and maybe vets and for infants and toddlers and homeschool kids. So keep your eye out for us, what we're doing, because there are going to be all kinds of different opportunities, not only to support us, but also to engage in music activities for personal benefit or bringing people together. And so we're excited about. The other thing that we're really excited about and that we're really good at is that, and again, it's because music is the universal language. It allows us to do that. One of the things that I found when we first started, and I was new to the whole, you call it nonprofit, I call it a community benefit organization, because a nonprofit describes nothing but your tax status, right?
Yep.
It says nothing about what you do, which is
I love that.
Community. So it's really a tax-exempt nonprofit, community benefit organization.
Yeah.
But I found out that it seemed to me that the community benefit organization were acting sort of, they have their own silos. Everyone has their own mailing list and their own donor list. And there wasn't much collaboration and communication between and among the nonprofits. We made as one of our fundamental values is we are constantly looking out for opportunities to communicate with and collaborate with other community benefit organizations, or governmental organizations, or other community organizations. We have, in one way, shape, or form, partnered with well over 100 community benefit organizations throughout the county, and over 100 different schools. So again, music allows you to do that. I'll give you a great example. I met the executive director of Meals on Wheels of Lancaster at Telus 360, one of my favorite places to hang out.
Yep.
Plug for Telus 360. Imagine that. I met her at a bar. And I started thinking, we ought to be able to collaborate some way, right? And so what we came up with, Meals on Wheels, they have their volunteers drive up, they load them up with some meals, they go around and they deliver the meals mostly to shut-ins, people who don't get out very often. So we came up with this idea, well, you know what? Let's put a musician to ride shotgun. And you go in when you drop off the meal to feed their body. We'll provide a musician to play some music for them to feed their soul. right? So
That's
those are
so cool.
opportunities that we have to be able to collaborate. Another great one is we found out about this organization called Right Face, WRITE Face, and it's run by vets for vets. It's a great organization. And they use poetry to try to help vets deal with PTSD and things like that. And we found out about it and said, man, we got to be able to partner with them in some way. So what we came up with is we provide musicians and songwriters to put their poetry to work to music.
That's
And,
awesome.
and it culminates with a show on Veterans Day at the Ware Center where they perform their songs, or we set up a band behind them and perform their songs and do their readings and things. But because music is the universal language, and because one of our fundamental values is to be always looking out for opportunities to collaborate, right? And what that does is, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, right? So when you collaborate like that, you build synergies, and your collective community impact increases. So that's really important to us, because we're always looking for opportunities to collaborate with other organizations to increase not only our community impact, but also their community impact. And music is a perfect tool to do that.
I love that. That organization, the vet based organization, you said Right Face?
Yeah, WRITEFACE.
Okay, yep. And you said there's a Veterans Day event that you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they do their poetry, and we give them the musicians work with them, and it all culminates with, there you go, Right Face. Yeah, it all culminates with a show on Veterans Day.
And is that a Lancaster-based organization?
Yeah, Lancaster-based. Yeah.
That's awesome. If you have a contact there, I would love if you could make an introduction to us. I'd love to have them on the show, and maybe that would be a great lead in towards Veterans Day. Yeah, I love that. I love the connections that you're making. Obviously, the connecting kids to music is the core of what you and Music for Everyone does, but all the connections that you're making in the community to further the mission of Music for Everyone, but ultimately for the benefit of the community. I just love that. I love that collaboration with Right Face. I think that's really, really cool, taking poetry and putting it to music.
Yep. Yeah, it's been fun.
Cool. I want to know, do you have any memorable moments that you can share from children or people who have been impacted by the Music for Everyone programs? Maybe one or two that you could share, something like that.
Yeah, sure. One of them occurred 2 summers ago at our summer camp, right? And we have 3 or 4 weeks of summer camp, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. And on one of them, at the end of each week, they have a performance, right?
Yep.
It's usually at the Ware Center. And so there are, 100 kids on stage. And I started to look around at all our faculty, and we hire a lot of college kids to serve as counselors, and we get some high school kids that also serve as counselors to help out. And and so I looked up on stage, and it occurred to me, and there may have been like 15 or so, people who were serving as music mentors or teachers.
Yep.
And I looked up and I said, you know what? Pretty much every single one of those music mentors had gone through one of our programs sometime, during their career as trying to become a music educator.
Awesome.
For example, some of them, one of them started as a 3rd grader and now is in college, majoring in music. He comes back to serve as a mentor during the summers. He started our program in 3rd grade. Many of them are what we call MFE scholars, where we have a scholarship program with Millersville University's music ed program. Okay. We give scholarships to music ed majors and majors in music ed and technology, music technology majors. So they may have been a music MFE scholar. They may have been an intern. But it was cool to see that. That's when things start to go full circle. You've been around long enough where the kids that you started out, giving lessons and providing opportunities for, have now gone through the program, and they've grown, and they're coming back to give back to the program to teach the next generation of kids. So that was really one of the most gratifying moments that I've experienced with Music for Everyone.
That's really, really cool. So what's you've got now underneath one roof at the Ware Center, you've got all your programming, at least the opportunity to have all the programming and other things that you do under the one roof. Any future goals for the program that you can share with us?
Yeah, well, our big, well, again, we have our 20th anniversary coming up in 2026.
Okay.
So we're concentrating on two things, and this will involve, we're just at the beginning stages of trying to put together a committee and for a capacity building campaign, because again, we're just scratching the surface. We on all the programming we do, I gave you the example of the instruments, how we, trying to, somehow get to a point where we can fund $250,000 every year in instruments.
Yeah.
We could probably double our after-school program because the demand's out there. So one part of it's going to be what we need to do, or what we have to do to try to increase our capacity to meet the demands that we are seeing right now. Mm-hmm. And those demands have increased dramatically since COVID. I think people really began to appreciate just how important music is in weaving the fabric of our communities together. So be able to meet the capacity, the demands that we need right now, and then also though to build up a nest egg that we're able to set ourselves up for the next 20 years. And the other thing that we've done with that, which is I'm really excited about, is that about 2 months ago, I finally made the move away from the executive director role. Oh. And we've hired Deb Rohr, who's absolutely fantastic, the right person at the right time for this organization. I'm still going to be involved just as much, only doing different things, most of it with the campaign, but more strategic thinking, more long-range planning, things that are more fun instead of the administrative stuff you have to do to run the organization, because it's gotten pretty big. But the most important thing about that is I think now hopefully we're at a point where when people think of Music for Everyone now, they think of me because I'm the founder.
Right.
And a lot of organizations, as they're growing, have trouble going from that founder syndrome into, the founder leaves and all, it's not. I think we've done a good job of preparing ourselves to where now, in terms of long-term sustainability, it was really important that I no longer be the executive director, someone else come in and do that job, because then it changes the dynamic around how the people perceive the organization, where it's no longer about John Gerdy, but it's really about the idea, the concept of Music for Everyone. So that's been really critical. We just so to make that transition happen smoothly, set us up where we're doing a better job of meeting those immediate needs that are growing, and then also setting up to be able to be sustainable for the next 20 years. So the next 2 years are going to be pretty important for us in terms of our long-term sustainability and development. Well,
that's awesome. Congratulations on finding Deb. Sounds like she's the right person to run the day-to-day part of the organization. I mean, we're going to have you back, you or Deb or both of you, as we get closer to your 20th.
We'd love to
share news that you have and updates and all of that. But definitely have you on again. Thank you so much for being on the show and sharing about Music for Everyone. I know I learned a lot, and just the impact that you have with the schools and with these children who then become potentially educators in the system. I love that. I think that's so cool that you've provided a vehicle for them to impact their own community that they live in. I think that's great.
And again, that's a testament to, all the volunteers and the people we've had work, but mostly the people of Lancaster for so generously supporting us.
It's an amazing community. It really is, really. John, you've got maybe 5 minutes for a few more questions, learn about you a little bit better?
Sure.
All right. So, I think we kind of know you. I mean, we shared in the beginning, you're an artist. Might those be your paintings behind you?
No, that is not my painting. That's a Fred.
Okay.
Oh, no, actually, the one over here it's over here. That one.
Yeah.
This one is a Fred Roger painting, who I absolutely love. That's a picture of actually a group I was in a while ago, the Willie Marble Experience. That was that's my stage name or whatever. But in art, I dabbled in art, in visual art, but also as a musician, lifelong musician, and
that's cool.
And a writer. Cool. So it keeps me off the streets,
There you go. Where did the name Willie Marble come from?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It just sounded like a good, my persona is a Delta blues man, growling and, all those old Delta blues stuff. So it sounded like would be a good stage name for blues.
Works for me. Where do you play? Do you play out?
Yeah. Sometimes at Tellus, usually at Tellus. Yeah.
That's cool. I want to know what your first job is or was.
My first job, I was a newspaper boy.
Okay, yeah.
We had the Herald News in northern New Jersey. Grew up in New Jersey. That my two older brothers did, and then it just passed down through the family. I did it, and then I actually gave it to my sister. My sister ended up doing it. So my first job was as a paper delivery boy.
That's cool.
In all honesty, my job growing up was to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pretty good basketball career, played professionally for a little while.
Yeah.
I was playing a lot of hoops, a lot of counselors at summer basketball camps and things like that.
That's cool. So that actually, I've got one final question, but that segues into my second to last question. We teased it at the beginning. You were, for 30 years, the Davidson men's basketball leading career scorer.
Correct.
I'm sure you know the points total. Do you know that?
Actually, I do not.
All right.
I do. Somewhere around 2,500 points.
All right. And that record.
Shot.
What's that?
Before the 3-point shot.
Okay, right. Which is more difficult. Yeah. To have that many points without the 3-point shot. So that was broken in 2009, I think, by somebody that most everybody knows. Who was it?
I don't know if they've heard of this guy, Steph Curry.
Yeah,
never heard of that guy?
I think everybody in the world has heard of Steph Curry.
And by the way, as a Davidson grad, and he just graduated finally this year, which we're really proud of.
That's cool.
We are so proud of him because you know what? What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
He is one of the kindest, most generous, most genuine people and humble person you'll ever meet.
That's awesome.
So we're very proud of Steph.
That's awesome. I watch a lot of basketball, and you can feel that on the court. He's good at what he does. He's confident, obviously, on the court, but I know he does a lot of things for his community.
Let me give you a perfect example of Steph. So when he graduated they did a big thing for him because Davidson will not retire your jersey unless you graduate. Which I think is great policy. Because the whole ethos of the program is you're a student first, and then who happens to play basketball. And so anyway, they did a big shindig with him, and they were nice enough to bring me down to be there because they wanted to celebrate his graduation, his induction into the Hall of Fame, and also his retirement of the jersey. And so after the ceremony, there was a cocktail hour or whatever, and I was invited to it, and he's over there, and I'd met him a couple of times before, but when I went over there and met him, said, "Hey, how you doing? Just, congratulations," all that kind of stuff. Usually, people go up to him all the time. I saw people doing it right there. Go up to him and, "Hey, I got my cell phone. Let me get a picture with you. Oh man, I got to get a picture with Steph Curry."
Yep.
When I came over, he looked at me, he knew who I was. We shook hands. Yeah. Oh, he got his guy, guy that helps him, whatever. Says, "Oh, I got to get a picture of John with me."
That's cool.
So he actually said, I want to get this selfie with me. I hear, why would you get something with me? But that's just the kind of caring and thoughtful and generous kind of guy he is.
That's cool.
He made me feel
All right.
really comfortable. Yeah, it's really good.
All right. So my final question, John Gerdy in 1979 playing one-on-one basketball with 1999 Steph Curry. Who's winning?
No, I wish I could, lie or whatever, tell another big story, but I'm not going to. No.
No. He's got you. All right.
The athletes are so much better nowadays.
Yeah.
They're just off the charts in what they can do.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing about music for everyone. John, it was a pleasure meeting you and talking with you about all the great things you're doing with Music for Everyone. We thank you at Lancaster Connects, and the Lancaster community thanks you as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity. Enjoyed being
and actually, before Chris puts you backstage, I noticed, and we talked about this pre-show, but I forgot to bring it up. You've written 8 books. I think we said that earlier, but those books are available, I believe you said, at the Ware Center and all
MFE offices at the Ware Center. Yeah, 8 books, everything from a lot on educational policy and reform, role of sports and music and the arts in our schools, but also a children's book that I've written and illustrated, the Alpha Bone Orchestra. It's a music-related children's book and alphabet book. All the way to the journey of an old white dude in the age of Black Lives Matter, which is about my journey as a basketball player and also my journey at Music for Everyone in terms of around issues of human rights, race, social justice. So a lot of different things. And but if you're interested, and every penny of every book purchase goes to Music for Everyone. So stop by the Ware Center or Music for Everyone offices and pick up 1 or 2. That's
cool. Great. Thanks for sharing, John. John, it was a pleasure having you on, and I hope you have a nice afternoon.
Thank you. All right.
Wow, that was such a cool show. Just, when we booked John and Music for Everyone to be on the show, I didn't know the basketball connection to Davidson and of course then to Steph Curry. I'm a huge basketball fan, but I didn't know that, so it was really cool to read that after booking John and doing some research and then seeing, oh my gosh, this guy knows Steph Curry. In fact, held a record that Steph Curry broke. I think that's there's only one person in the world that can say that. But beyond the basketball thing, John is just doing amazing things in the Lancaster community with the Music for Everyone program. All right, we're going to wrap up the show here. I've got our community rundown. Some events of things going on in the Lancaster community. We find these in our Lancaster Connects Facebook feed. We just scroll through, find some posts of things that people have going on. Our first one there, Chris has on the screen, is Music and Wonder Dinner Theater. They're seeking local talent, accepting digital submissions, male and female singers, dancers, singer/dancers, I guess. You could do both. You could sing, you could dance, and you could do both. Seeking versatile performers with great vocal and physical range, magic and illusion, gymnastics and aerial skills, a plus but not required. Strongly seeking singer, dancer, or singers who move. Performers of all races and ethnicities are encouraged to submit. The contract is from February to the beginning of January 2026, and you're paid for rehearsals and performances. Pretty cool. You could be on the stage if you've always wanted to be on the stage. Here's your opportunity. Magic and Wonder Theater. Just go to their website or find their Facebook page and get started. All right, number 2 on the list is Lidditz Historical Foundation. We're actually going to have Corey from the Lidditz Historical Foundation on the show next week, the 13th of January. And they are busy planning their 2025 summer concert series in the Mary Emy Gardens. What Central PA bands would you like to see play our outdoor stage this year is the question they asked on Facebook. So there's a picture of their outdoor stage. They want to know who you want to see on their stage. Looks like they get a big crowd, likely a free event. We'll learn more about it next week when we talk to Corey from the Lidditz Historical Foundation. But if you have some ideas on bands or musicians that could perform on their summer stage, reach out to them, look them up on Facebook. All right, the next one is Lancaster Cupcake. Pretty cool organization here, makes all kinds of delicious cupcake treats. They've got a new workshop that they've launched in 2025. They've got their Winter Wonderland Cupcake Decorating Workshop. You can celebrate with friends and family by decorating chocolate and vanilla cupcakes. You get all the decorating materials and a 45-minute guided instruction on how to do that. Great for kids, great for adults. You can register either in-store or on their page, lancastercupcake.com. Again, find their Facebook page, and you can check out what they're doing there. Oh my gosh, I'm getting hungry. All right, last but not least, we got Dutch Apple Dinner Theater. They've got a great rundown of events in 2025. They're calling it an unforgettable year of live theater at Dutch Apple Dinner Theater. So, of course, you have Magic and Wonder, Magic Theater, everything that they do. And then you've got Dutch Apple, completely different dinner theater here. They've got musicals to high energy comedies. The 2025 season is packed with something for everybody. They've got Murder for Two in January, Waitress in February through April, Fiddler on the Roof. I know a lot of people have seen that. We Will Rock You, The Wizard of Oz, Buddy, the Buddy Holly story. That's pretty cool. A Chorus Line, Holiday Inn, some really, really cool events there at Dutch Apple Dinner Theater. Go to DutchAppleDinnerTheater.com to book your tickets, or you can call 717-898-1900. That's Dutch Apple Dinner Theater. Pretty cool place. A lot of cool shows that they put on there. Well, that's about it. I will give a shout out to our business that Jeff and I co-own together, Gardner's Mattress and More, helping Lancaster wake up happy every morning. Gardner's is the reason we can put on this show to highlight great organizations, community benefit organizations. Like John said, I love that. I don't think I'm going to use the word nonprofit anymore. Community benefit organizations. I think that's fantastic. We normally do a testimonial for Gardner's. We had a few testimonials come in over the holiday week and a half, whatever it was. Jeff here, not Jeff Giannakovo, Jeff, our customer, said that on Google, it was a great experience from start to finish. Gardner's has a wide selection to choose from on the site or on site, not on the website, but on site at Gardner's. Very knowledgeable staff to answer any questions you can come up with. A large purchase like this is only done every few years, so it was comforting to deal with someone who could answer your questions. A large purchase like this is only done. Oh, I'm sorry. I should just read it. A large purchase like this is only done every few years, so it was comforting to deal with someone who could answer your questions, offered experience, advice, and help you make the right decision for your needs. Would not hesitate to refer to family and friends. Yeah, I got a little lost in my review there. So thank you, Jeff, for the review of Gardner's Mattress and More. Thanks to the Gardner's team for providing an excellent experience for our customers. That's it. Like I said, we got a great show next week. We've got the Lidditz Historical Foundation coming up. We have a great conversation with Corey. Again, we broadcast live every Monday at 2:00 here at Lancaster Connects. You can watch the show on Facebook, YouTube, both Gardner's Mattress and More and Lancaster Connects Facebook and YouTube channels, some LinkedIn channels, personal pages, mine and Jeff's. So definitely give us a watch. If you want to watch past episodes, you can go to lancasterconnects.com/episodes and watch past episodes. So this has been really fun talking to John Gerdy from Music for Everyone. Hope everyone enjoyed the show. Definitely check them out. Check out their website. Like John said, learn everything that they're doing. The more you know about their programs, the more benefit they can have with the Lancaster community and the kids that really need the program. So it was a great, impactful conversation with John. So, all right. So that's it for today's show. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great afternoon.